Hi, this is Kevin Trainer, and welcome to my tutorial for the Senior Capstone. This is a tutorial on how to pull changes in our shared content repository to your SOIS web account. So before you're able to do this, you already have to have cloned the repository on your SOIS web account. So if you haven't already done that, then there's a tutorial for that exactly. Okay, so go watch and follow the cloning tutorial, and then come back here when you have some updates in the content that's in the repository on the remote repository, and you want to pull those changes down to your website on your current on your SOIS web server. Okay, so um, first of all, let's uh, let's just take a look at the content that I have on my web server right now. So I'm going to go to my web server account trainer k uwmsois.com, and the site that I want is the last one here, Senior Capstone Fall 2018. We can't quite see it all, the name, but it's the last one. So it's here, and right now my instructor content, um, it hasn't changed since the last video that I did. We're here in the fall of 2018, so we're seeing the details for that. But I'm hoping this is going to last a while, so I'm hoping you're in a subsequent class. Okay. So here's the introduction that I have so far, um, and that's also what's in the repository. I haven't done any update to it. Okay. So let's review how I do the update. It's pretty straightforward. I'm on my machine, right? And I go and I find that repository on my Mac. It's underneath my user ID, and I find Senior Capstone Fall 2018, and I open that directory, and there's a lot of stuff here, and there are all the student pages, but the one I'm interested in is the instructor page, and I'm just going to open it with any old text editor. Okay, and of course it comes up on another monitor, doesn't it? Okay, so here it is on our monitor here, and I'm going to make it a little bigger, so okay, so we can see the content a little bit better. Okay, and so I'm going to add one more paragraph. Okay, and I'm going to add one that says um, I added this paragraph while recording the tutorial for pulling changes to your SOIS web server account. And I'm just going to do an NP. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so that's different. I'm going to save that. So let's just do a file save. Okay, so that one's done. Alright, so I'm going to go to source tree, and I'm going to look at source tree. That just came up on another monitor, and I've got the repository right here at the top of my list of repositories. So I'm going to double click, and I'm I'm opening up on the file status page, and this is a little different on the Mac and Windows. On the Mac, we just have a single panel. Okay, there's only one operation on the Mac. So you select the files that you want to commit, and you do that with a check mark. And then you commit them. On the Windows version, it's a two-part panel, and you have to do two operations. We have to stage it, which is sort of the equivalent of the check mark in the Mac version, and then you have to commit. So I wish the two implementations work the same, but they don't. So we can see I changed trainer K. You can see I've added the right line. That looks good. So I'm going to commit, and I'm going to say something like this. I'm going to say add distinctive content to my instructor page. Okay, and I'm going to come down here and commit. And now you can see I'm ready to push one commit up to the remote repository. But you'll remember I keep telling you a lot of us are using it at the same time. So you're always going to be safer if you do a pull first. So I'm going to click on pull and say OK. The worst that can happen, it'll say it was already up to date. Okay, and then without delay, click on push and then say OK. And that's going to push my changes up. Okay, so my changes should be up at the remote repository now. Okay, and again, how can I know that they're actually there? And I've showed my classes this a couple times. Whoops, sorry. Clicked on something before I was ready. Okay, good. So let's open up. Let's go to my Bitbucket account, bitbucket.org, and I'm already logged into my account that's associated with UWM, so that's good. And this top repository is the right copy of the Senior Capstone Fall 2018. We had a little confusion when there was a version created by the TA, a Wabcom, and I couldn't. He didn't have an account where all you were able to sign up, but I do, and so now we're using this. So if I go here. When I go to the page for this repository, I'm already on source, so I see source, and I can open instructors, and I can open trainerk.html, and it's going to show us what the content is. And you can see that, yeah, that's there. So I did actually push it up to the remote repository. So now I need to pull it to the copy of the repository that's on my account of the SOIS web server. Okay, so we're ready to do that now. Okay, now the way that you log on to the SOIS web server and get a terminal window for it is different for the Mac and for Windows. Okay, and I've got separate tutorials on those. So if you forgot how to do that, I'm going to pause here and I'm going to let you do that. And when we come back, we'll be actually ready to use the logged in terminal window. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back here, and as you can see, I'm working on my Mac and I'm logged into a terminal window. I have an SSH connection to my SOIS web account, And again, if you don't know how to do that, there's a separate tutorial for doing it on the Mac, and one for doing it on Windows 10. So you're going to have to back up and follow those. Okay, so here we're ready to go, and you might remember from the cloning tutorial that when we log in, we're in our home directory, and this little tilde here, we typically have after this identifier of the server, we typically have the name of the directory that we're in. And this tilde is the shorthand for our home directory. So we've got that. That's good. That's the last recording. Get that off of there. So if we say ls, type in ls, we'll get a listing of the files and the directories in our home directory. And www is we have a shortcut to that in our directory. So how do we change the directory to that? Well, we just say cd for change directory space www. Okay, and then we can say ls again to see the directories that are under www. And notice that when we're in the www directory, we see that in the prompt. So we've got a bunch of things that are here, including Senior Capstone Fall 2018. And what we want to do is we want to use Git to pull the changes into Senior Capstone Fall 2018. And how do we do that? Well, we go into that directory. So we do a change directory to Senior Capstone Fall 2018, or whatever is the appropriate semester for you, right? And now you can see that's in our prompt. And if we do an ls, it's going to show us the files and the directories that are inside of that directory. And that's the directory that we want. So that's our website, and it's a proper Git repository. So once we're in the directory that holds the Git repository, we can do all kinds of Git commands. We can say stuff like git status. Okay, and it gives you can clearly see that it thought that this was on the master branch of the Git repository, which is fine. That's what we want. And there's nothing to commit. It's a clean working tree. And that makes sense because we typically don't make changes to our content on the server. So if we do a git status, it's always going to be clean. Okay? We make the changes on our client, on our laptop, then we commit them, then we push them up to the remote, and now we pull them down to here. So the only way that things ever get changed on this server is through the pull action that we're about to do. And then we can just say git space pull. And it wants to know our password for Bitbucket. Okay, so I'm going to put in mine. You would put in yours. And there it is. Now the detail here is it said it was just one file changed. One of the really nice things about this Git infrastructure is it only really sends around the data that has to send around. So we changed one file, and that's all that really comes down. Okay, so it's pretty efficient. All right, so let's go test this. Let's go back to our Chrome browser and go back to my web account, trainerk.uwmsois.com. And again, we know it's the last of the links there, so let's go there. Okay, and then let's go to instructors, Kevin Trainer, and there it is. I added this paragraph while recording the tutorial for pulling changes to your SOIS web server account. No punctuation there. I guess I'm going to add that the next time I have to show people that I was able to pull changes. So that's it. The changes are pulled. So this, what we've covered in this cycle is the typical way that you would make a change to content in the repository that you're interested in, and then you would make a commit on your computer, your probably your laptop. That's what I use. And then once you did the commit on your laptop, you would push your changes up to the remote, and then you would log on and get a terminal window on your SOIS web account using an SSH connection. And do what we just did. Just simply get to the right directory and do a git pull. It's that easy. Okay? And this kind of workflow is pretty typically how people deploy code to their server. And not just websites, all kinds of web applications, etc. So this is a workflow that will serve you well in your day job. So that's it for how to do this. Good luck with it, and I'm going to say bye until next time. Bye-bye.